Good morning Apex University, my name is Dan and I'll be your coach for today, and I thought I would start your Monday morning on a chilled out pace by answering one of the most common questions that I've been getting over the last couple weeks. That is, players that are able to drop 10 or 15 kill games but are not quite able to get that coveted 20 kill badge yet. Now, as you guys know, a lot of people have joined the Discord lately that I've been playing with, and this is one of those games where I had no real expectations whatsoever. But I noticed at some point in the game that I could drop a 20 bomb here, and so I wanted to take you through the different rules that I followed during early, mid and late game in order to try and get that 20. The very first step, as you guys might know, is hot dropping. You need to get a bunch of kills early, and generally you want to start the game with at least 5 and preferably closer to 10 kills before you leave the area where you drop. You have to hot drop in order to achieve that. Aside from that, there is different types of hot drops, and there are two types in particular that have a higher probability of dropping a high kill game. The first is what I'm doing right now, something I would call a super hot drop. Where the dropship starts, the majority of the lobby will jump out of the dropship early, and so you will find most people at the start of the route of the dropship. On top of that, because those people drop down earlier, they also loot up quicker and get into fights and die earlier into the game. People that drop later on are generally farther spread out and less geared up by mid-game. Because of that, the point of a super hot drop is dropping incredibly early so that you can kill all the teams that get into the first fights and rotate towards the other teams before they kill each other. Of course, if you want to kill a third of the lobby by yourself, you have to make sure you're involved in as many fights as possible, and don't give the teams unnecessary opportunities to kill each other before you get there. The other option is a centralized hot drop, dropping in a central location such as bunker towards the middle of the map so that everybody that drops towards the outside will have to rotate towards you and trying to maintain the middle of the map. This makes you very likely to constantly be third party and people are gonna keep coming for you, but because of that you're also attracting all the kills to you. It's a bit more risky than a super hot drop when it comes to the mid game, because you're going to be attracting a lot of third parties with any fight you take, since there are so many people around that might be able to hear you. But because of that, your early game is a little bit safer. These kind of depend on personal preference, but I would just go by dropship route. If the dropship goes over a place like Artillery or Skulltown and I know that's going to be an incredibly busy starting position, I don't mind dropping there because it's a good place to start. But if it starts somewhere really uncomfortable where there's a bad rotation out of there, I might just go towards the middle of the map, start my game there. Also, keep in mind, for the early game, you're not always going to get enough kills in the early game to even be able to drop a 20 bomb. Or sometimes you'll be in a lobby where maybe there's a lot of great players and by the time that you leave the area where you dropped, there's only 16 enemies left. In games like that, if you're really only grinding for the 20 kill badge, you may as well just leave. The probability that you're going to drop a 20 kill game, no matter how good you are, is incredibly tiny at that point, and if you leave you can at least queue up again and hot drop again and see if you do better that time. You're just not always going to find as many people as you need. Alright, so that covers hot dropping and the amount of kills you want to see if you're really shooting for that 20 kill badge. But what else is there to the early game? First off is you need to loot quick, throughout the entire game, but especially early, because the quicker you get the basics that you need to win fights, the quicker you can go farm kills. And this is where skill really comes in. One of the main reasons that a lot of people can't drop 20 bombs is you need to be able to win fights with minimal loot. I'm not gonna bother checking buildings as soon as I have a weapon that I like for an extended mag. I'll find it eventually on a death box, and even if I don't care. That's a disadvantage that I have to take and have to overcome to keep up the momentum. And that's the skill that's required for a 20 kill game. It's being able to win fights and kill people even when you're at a massive disadvantage, because you're basically constantly taking risks in order to speed up the amount of fights that you get into. And when it comes to which weapons to use, luckily in this game a lot of weapons, almost all of them are viable for a 20 kill game, but I would say focus on weapons where you can get knocks and secures as quickly as possible. For example, you might really like the triple take, and competitively it is a pretty good weapon, but the problem is you can't get knocks with it quickly and it is difficult to secure kills you get with it. So a weapon like the R99 or the Peacekeeper, where you get into somebody's face and you know somebody's going to die and there's nothing they can do against it, is far more effective, because you need to finish fights as quickly as you can. And while right now ammo is not really an issue for 20 bombs, in general you want to stick to ammo types that are common, because looting quickly is essential. So every time I thirst a kill, I'll just quickly go into the box and grab the two things I need, ammo and batteries, and that's it. I move on. If there's some attachment I happen to see that I could use, I might pick it up, but I'm just trying to minimize the amount of time that I spent looking at death boxes. So let's look at the early game. I'm following those rules and then we'll move on to the mid game and rotations. No, they were in here. Well, they might be upstairs now. Yeah, there's a plan. Yep. I'm going up top. Oh yeah, I see one here. Got him. Got him. Full dead. I killed the kill leader. There's one more ziplining up here. Broke his armor, downed him.
I'm coming up just to get some ammo.
Okay, he dropped down.
Very close.
On me here, I think.
Yep, here. Red. There's a red up here.
Somebody behind me here as well. I'm gonna go back to the top. Of course, the teammate joined the loot. Didn't help for the kill, but joins the loot.
Oh, red here. And there's somebody.
Yep, here on me. Got her. I'm destroying with the longbow with no sight on it.
Our teammate is down.
Yep.
Pathfinder.
One down here. Got him.
Red. Nice.
Thank you.
Got
I'm on 7 kills. He's the one. Yikes, I'm dead.
Okay, I'm out of ammo.
Fucking use the Phoenix. Damn it. Thank you. You might need to cover if they show up, but I think we'll be okay.
It's not connecting.
It's okay.
Sometimes it goes on the other side of the door.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pathfinder was quite low if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know, but I'm gonna go res our teammate. Oh, I see one of them. I see both of them. Headshot one over there.
Okay, I'm out. Okay, I think I hit one of them.
One is pushing up. Okay. Got him.
Need some ammo. Okay. I'm out of ammo completely. Nothing.
Oh, yikes, on me.
Broke his shield, but I'm literally zero ammo.
Fuck. I'm healing. Give me some time, sorry.
Oh, I'm done.
Oh no.
Yes, sir. I'm bad. Game has been a struggle with that.
So now that we've had a successful early game and we can see that there's enough people left in this lobby to drop a potential 20 bomb, the mid game is the most difficult part of dropping that 20. You see, in the late game you're unlikely to lose kills because you know exactly where all the last teams are, and it's pretty easy to secure the kills for yourself, unless your teammates of course are trying to take them as well. But in the mid game, people can be all over the place. They might be really spread out and a lot of fights might be going on at the same time. And so you really want to get to 15 kills before you get to that end game, and that can be tough. Because of that, there's really only 3 possible things that you should be doing in the mid game and nothing else. The first and most important is that whenever you hear gunshots in the mid game, if you have a good high kill start, that instantly becomes your priority. Drop whatever you're doing, forget about your teammates, your loot, your life and your love. Those gunshots are the only thing that matters, because you have to kill those players before they kill each other. And this is why in the mid game most 20 kill games go to die, because you have to take a lot of risks in the mid game to ensure you have that set up to end up on at least 20. Which means you are likely to end up having to rush in alone ahead of your teammates and you might die. So if you are going to grind for the 20 kill badge, be ready to die a lot in the mid game, because that's just a requirement. If there are no gunshots to follow, your second option is going towards points of interest. This should really only happen if there are no gunshots to follow at all, but points of interest are stuff like the supply ship landing somewhere, a lifeline drop or a natural supply drop. Lifeline drops will always be the highest priority out of those, because there is a guarantee that there is a team there. After that, the supply ship, because it gives you a good vantage point, and if there is not a team already on it, there's likely teams in the area. And then lastly, natural drops, which might still attract some teams. In the off game, where there are no gunshots and no points of interest to go to, you're probably going to have a tough time getting to that 15 before the end game, but at the very least go towards the middle of the next zone. That way you're most likely to catch teams within their rotation, or to be able to hear fights breaking out. So let's have a look at the mid game and realize that I'm being completely aggressive and suicidal, because I have to be, and I'm trying to spend as little time as possible looting or healing. I'm just gonna flank this team now while you guys are healing up. Got him. I'm 1 HP though. No, I'm great. It's okay, take your time, go get your stuff. I'll just try to stay alive and get the kills. They actually res. No, go get your own stuff, it's all fine. I did kill a Pathfinder here if you want to take his stuff. I think he had purple armor. Yep, he just died somewhere here. Oh, here on the corner? Right here. There's definitely an enemy somewhere here. Oh yeah, right here. 2. Wraith's hurt. He's hurt too. Wraith's 1. No, my bad, I overexposed. Do you think you can get me? Back here? Behind, all the way behind. While they're fighting. Right there. Oh, that's a natural. Never mind. Oh, right there. He's getting shot by another team as well. Purple armor. Got him. Nice. Now I need 7 more kills.
On the ship. The house.
Yeah, on the house. Right here, in this house. Hit 96. I can probably kill him.
They're on the third.
No, I want to kill him. Got him. I'm gonna try push them. At this point we've started moving into the late game. You can see that there's less than 5 squads left, and at this point you're unlikely to lose a lot of kills, because the zone is small enough that you can hear any fights going on, and so you want to prioritize any teams that are fighting to make sure you don't lose any of the kills. But at this point people will generally have a better position, the average kill level will be a bit higher, and they'll probably all have some decent armor and gear, so you have a little bit more time to work with and you don't need to be so aggressive anymore. And so a strong defendable central position from which you can engage on any team that messes up or gets into a fight is essential for the late game.
It's possible.
Got one. Finished him.
Lifeline's one. I'm gonna go over there. They're both low. I got this, I guess.
And here you'll soon see the reason why I picked this game in particular to show you guys rather than some of the more impressive 20+ kill games I've had, because what you'll notice by my playstyle here is that I'm still playing as if it's the mid game. I'm still being needlessly aggressive, when there's no serious risk of me losing any of the remaining kills. So at this point I need 3 more kills, and there's still 3 enemy teams left, meaning I need only 1 kill per team, and there's no need for me to be too aggressive. So the fact that I'm still being super aggressive here and playing like I need to secure every kill for myself is why I end up losing the 20 bomb in just a second here.
Okay, I'm in trouble. Oh, I don't have my cooldown. I thought I did.
Oh, up here. He's dropped down. Got 11. Shield off.
Oh, I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm sorry. Yeah. And they thirsted me too? Are you kidding me? Yikes. That's what I get for such... I wanted to grapple onto the roof. That's all I wanted.
Ooh, the lifeline.
Ah, I'm so angry at myself. I missed my 20 bomb twice.
He's inside, inside.
You got this. Nice. Nice. Well done, well done.
So I wanted to show this game in particular because almost everybody that I spoke to was very down and upset about the fact that they had a 15 kill game or they had a 16 kill game, but they couldn't quite get to that 20. And I wanted to show you that every single player in here that has dropped multiple 20 kill games has at least double the amount of 17, 18 or 19 kill games, either because they died due to the aggression that is required or simply because they didn't find the 20th person in time. So keep following these rules, drop hot, prioritize any teams that are fighting. If you hear gunshots, go to them instantly, minimize the amount of time that you spend looting, and rotate aggressively towards points of interest or the middle of the circle. On top of that, keep in mind that in solo queue with bad teammates it's generally a lot easier to drop a high kill game since there's nobody that you're contesting for your kills. And if you have a good start, you can make it a bit easier on yourself by asking your teammates to let you get the knocks, if they're willing to do so, of course.
Oh, nope, there's one last enemy. Ah, nice. GG, well played. Sorry for feeding at the end there, I was trying to hit 20.
That's fine, that's fine.
I hope I've made it clear that at least to some extent, no matter how good you are, a bit of luck is always involved in finding the right lobby to getting a 20 kill game. So if you're truly grinding to get the badge, you should always drop hot, and if your start isn't good enough, just back out and try again, until eventually you get it. I really hope that was helpful. Peace.